Support for this program is provided by the Women's Hospital, providing a complete range of healthcare services to women and infants. More information available at deaconess.com/the Women's Hospital. Toyota Indiana, Pump It Up Evansville, and Gigi's Cupcakes.
They took advantage of it when we made errors. We can't make errors. We can't. We got to be a lot sharper mentally than what we are. I don't know where everybody's mind's at right now, but we need to get in this ball game all the time. You got to anticipate the next play. You can't get caught off guard. You can't catch the ball and then be shaking and going, oh, I got to make another play. You should know where the next play is. We talked about this. We practice it.
I treat them as athletes. And I think that's one of the big keys, but I think that's where the sport has gone to, in a sense that it is looked at as athletes, and the kids are looked at it in that avenue, and not boys, girls, those type of things. You know, there's so much going on out there with, you know, the equal billing for both boys and girls, and it's a great thing. You know, and I think that's the world everybody's living in now. So that they don't see it. They haven't experienced what you and I experienced.
I was about 10 years old. There was a gentleman by the name of Vic Green who was the head football coach at Petersburg High School. And as head football coaches do often in the winter, they'll coach an elementary or middle school basketball program. Well, Vic had taken an interest in me and knew I liked sports. There were no girls' programs at that time in elementary. And he said, hey, you know, would you be interested in playing for the boys?
Well, back when I started out, there was probably the first thing I really remember as far as, you know, we played ball in the backyard and the neighbors and all got together and played. And probably the first organized, I call it organized, Gary Lemon organized Little League Baseball in Otwell. And I was the only girl, but I played baseball they were either Saturday or Sunday afternoons one summer.
Well, what had happened was my mom was also involved with the school corporation. She was a school nurse, and Vic had run into her previously and just said, hey, we would love for Jody to play on the team. And my mom knew Vic and teased, and she says, well, Vic, if you can get her own locker room, that's great.
I was not a real good baseball player, but I did okay. I mean, I didn't have a really good arm, but that was in baseball. Now, basketball, that was my sport. I was always one of the first ones picked most of the time.
Vic took it to heart and approached me as a 10-year-old. Well, I went running home, was so excited, and they had to break the news to me, which at the time, I'm so grateful that they did, that was not going to be an option for me.
Otwell had some pretty good athletic programs with Rick Wiseman and Steve Barrett and that group coming up through and winning a sectional. I emulated them. I could shoot shots like they shot when I was in 5th and 6th grade, emulating them. So that's really where that all started.
It was probably the only time my parents ever said no for an opportunity for me, because at that time there was no softball programs as there are now, so they drove me to Washington probably 4 days a week to play in a league over there. So, you know, I had tons of support, but it was just I had to wait. I had to wait for when the timing was right, and I'm so glad that they did. You know, I think it was a great experience for me. I would play basketball by myself. I would play in the cold. I can remember when it would be so cold that I would have to go in because the ball would lose, it wasn't inflated. So I would put it under my mom's, when the dryer was running, I'd put the ball under the dryer vent, go in, warm up, maybe drink some hot chocolate, come back out. That thing would bounce for a while, but I didn't need, you know, anybody to play. It was just, I enjoyed shooting. It was just something I loved to do.
Today we're talking about girls sports and the opportunities that are out there for girls and the benefits that girls sports gives them. We just talked to Jody and Patty, and they were that first generation of girls that were able to play sports in the school, which was huge. In the early 70s, the IHSAA incorporated girls sports into the school. But the girls that we're going to talk to today, playing sports is all they've ever known. That opportunity has always been there for them. So let's hear what they have to say.
I don't remember not being interested in sports.
Well, my dad, he's always been a big sports fan, and so I was just kind of brought up into it, and so I was always there when they were down at the field playing and stuff.
The first sport I did was gymnastics, and I was like 3, and I remember we obviously didn't do that much, but we started doing like cartwheels and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Like, it's fun to be part of like a team and all the girls, and mostly just to have fun.
I just love just working out, I guess. My parents have always pushed me to do something that I love, so I just stuck with it when they started me out.
I always loved playing basketball with Dad, playing around the world in horse, and I remember winning.
I liked it at first because all my friends were in it, and then I started to progress into like doing it more year-round, and it gave me something to do other than school. It gave me something to look forward to. Being with a team and is like a second family. You always have someone there for you.
We were down at the World Series this year, and we always trade pins and stuff, and you just get to go and meet all those girls, and we trade numbers and we talk to them all the time, so it's really great to just go and do that.
I got kids on my softball team this year that are walk-ons that they just want to be on a team. There's, if they play, they play. If they don't, they don't. They don't care. You don't find that in the men's team. They want to play no matter what. They could be the worst player we have, but they think they can play. So that is a difference. But the thing with pushing yourself to the limit, I think that is one thing that any type of sport does do. It will. You can do. Your body can do more things than you ever dreamed it can do. But it starts with the mind making it do it.
I think it's very empowering in that it gives you confidence when you can go out there and have some successes, and it also builds character because you're not going to win all the time.
Well, I hope I'm teaching them life lessons. Obviously the fundamentals of the game, but you hope that the disciplines that come out of there, working as a team, learning to win well, learning to lose well, learning to move on and challenge and learning to fail, all those things you hope is what you're teaching them, and you hope that those lessons they carry out to become the next doctor or a lawyer or whatever it may be in their workplace, maybe even a mom, and nothing against that, but whatever they're at, they use those disciplines to become better at what they do.
Meet Tim Barrett. He is now the coach of the Lady Knights, but in his former life he was a major leaguer. He played for the Montreal Expos and the Dodgers, and he is the coach that you want for your kid. He's not only teaching you the sport, he's teaching you accountability and these life skills that are so important and really the reason that we play sports, right? Well, we want to win, and he's winning. So let's meet Tim.
I played for Coach Tim for about 7 years, and best coach I've ever had.
Tim's got a different set of coaching than any other coach that I have. He's there 100% every single day. He's always there for the kids. He's really humane about everything, so.
Really humane, what does that mean?
Like friendly, always there and supporting us.
Yeah, that was the nice part about having a woman coach, is that they understood everything. But like with Coach Tim, he understands too. So.
Why do you think that is?
He has 2 daughters.
Coaching girls was, it grew on me. I didn't know, at first I didn't know how I would do and I struggled with it the first few years. But then I got in my mind to say, it's not boys, it's not girls, they're athletes. And I looked at it from that perspective, and I've treated them that way, and I treat these girls that I coach today that way. I don't see boys or girls. I see athletes.
A lot of work here, let's go. Everybody working hard. We got to begin today. We're ready to execute. Make sure you know your signals. All those things we need to know. All right, working hard. Let's go. Come on.
Do it right here.
Hits on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hits.
He's so organized, and he has set in his mind what he wants to do with the season. 5 games from now, he already knows where everyone's going to be and who's pitching and all that stuff.
Not only what you do at the ballpark with girls, you live it at home, and from a dad's perspective, you learn to live with, I've got my wife and my 2 daughters, so a household full of women, and you learn to live with that.
Can you get it here? All right, just want to make sure. Let me know if we need a cutoff.
I think it just gives you a perspective on just, what you're capable of. That was the thing with me, with coaching the girls. It seemed like as I started to get over the hump with it and treat them as athletes, I started to get better at it.
How do I hit it? Push out.
That also helped me at home, because you got to basically present the same delivery at home sometimes to your kids. So it's one of those things.
Pick them up. There you go. Still move. Make sure you can still move. Away. Good feet. Shorten up out there.
I always say the thing about Coach Russell when I played basketball for him is I learned that you're never too good to get yelled at. And I've always kind of taken that approach with the kids in the sense that, everybody can learn something. And everybody's going to mess up. And we talk about errors. We talk about failure a lot. You're going to fail a lot, especially in softball and baseball. You go up there and hit, you're going to fail more than you succeed most of the time. And we talk about failures and things like that. And we talk about learning from people's mistakes. I mean, that's how we get better.
I always know that even if I have a bad day at school, if I come to practice, the coaches, the players, they can always make your day better because they always have your back no matter what. We're like a family.
We really mesh together. We're always talking about being a circle, and that's what Coach Barrett always tells us, that we're a circle and that completes our team. And so that's what symbolizes us.
Even when somebody does something wrong, I know Taylor had a rough game at third. She wasn't real happy with her performance. She struck out once there in the last. I know she was upset, but I turned and I saw people over there with her. That's huge. And I think this group in particular, their personality as a team's really good at that.
Come on. Three. Tag. Think about why we just gave up 2 runs. Think about what happened right there. Was it they hit the ball and earned it? We give it to them. Let's go. Come on. Yes, I was obviously not happy with that play. Good.
He always says that we need to play first class. We need to be first class. We always have the nice uniform because he wants us to look good. He always scares if he runs out of people if you look good. He's always prepared for practice. He has a schedule set for the time when we do everything.
All right. Hey, that's what we've been good at doing all year long. Every time we have something like this happen, we bounce back and got runs. Let's go. Come on.
Right here, starters off here, babe. Right here. Let's go. Don't slide.
I have some traits that I say you got to be. You got to be responsible. That means you're going to be on time. If you're not on time, the team pays, and that's kind of our theory. Being responsible about your equipment, taking care of things, taking care of your uniform, all those type of things that promote responsibility. Disciplining yourself to know that we're going to practice at 8 o'clock in the morning. You need to make sure you're ready to go at 8 o'clock in the morning, and showing up prepared for that. Making good choices, being supportive. I don't tolerate anybody that's not supportive of another person on the team. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. You got to be there for people. And then the other one I think that's probably the big one that goes overlooked a lot is just friendship in general. I want kids to be friends. I want them to understand how to interact. Softball, what it did for my kids is it taught them how to go and be with other people and thrive in situations that maybe are a little uncomfortable to where they become comfortable. And I think that's what team promotes is that type of thing where you're in a big group and everything like that. So friendship just in general is something that's great that you get from this.
1, 2, 3, let's go. Let's swing it back.
Thanks.
All right, hang in there. Come on, you're all right. You're about to give me some defense, all right?
You can go 0 for 4 and knock 3 runs in and have a great day. You can go 4 for 4, your team loses, and you don't do anything to help the team, and that doesn't matter. So that's one of the things that we constantly talk about all the time. And it's the same thing from a school's perspective. If your team wins, people are going to find out who you are. And if they find out who you are, they're going to say, well, if they're winning, then they must have good players. So it's all related. It's all related, that's for sure.
Good. On the base. You missed a signal? You missed a signal? No.
Well, you're lucky you made it, Miller.
Here you go, bud.
Long back to Laura.
He's always pushing you to do your best. He's always there for you and explaining things. No matter what, you can always come to him for anything.
What about him garners respect or, creates respect as a coach?
I'm not really sure why I'm crying right now.
That's okay.
He's not just a coach. He can, he can be with you at any part. You can go, you can't go to him just as a coach. You can go to him as like a friend or family or something like that.
Great job of bouncing back. Some of you need to remember a couple things, okay? One of the things about this game, again, we talk about periodically, is that it's not always perfect, okay? And success comes by keep building from play to play, at bat to at bat.
I'll tell you that one of the neatest things is I've had kids that I coached my very first year that still call me coach. And to me, I think that's the ultimate compliment. If they're doing that, then one, they still respect me. But I've got so many kids that call me that.
He hasn't just taught me just sports. It's been even like life stuff, like preparedness and having your own responsibility. He's taught me all of that. And I don't think any other coach could have done that as well as he did.
So you have a student athlete, and they and you believe that they can continue playing. They don't want to stop playing after high school. Well, what's the next step is recruiting. So we're going to talk to some people that know a lot about recruiting. We're going to talk to people that recruit, and students and former students that have been recruited that can tell you what the process is like, how to do it. And we're going to stress that there are opportunities out there for you.
Well, this was kind of scary. They would fly you out. You. Just me. So I would be traveling from Louisville or Indianapolis, and I'd go out to Providence, Rhode Island, or Lehigh, or Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I'd be flying by myself as a 17-year-old girl, which is terrifying because, I don't know where I'm going, so I'd follow, the closest respectable-looking adult to my next terminal. But yeah, I just remember going out there and just being in awe and so excited to see these colleges. And
it really started with our daughter deciding what she wanted to do. When she decided she wanted to play volleyball, we had to figure out how she was going to get some exposure.
I've had some experience involved in it as being recruited as an athlete, but also being involved in recruiting athletes, and then also from a level of a coach trying to get kids recruited. So I think I've learned over the years a little bit of a portfolio of what to do. But you're right. High school people, guidance counselors don't understand what a high school athlete really needs to do to go try to become a college athlete.
It's not like in the movies where there's the guy with the hat that says what school they're from, and they're there with their paper just watching you. So it wasn't like that at all, especially with volleyball around here. We never even filled half of the stands. They'd take out the big stands and put in the little half ones. And they weren't filled, so people weren't gonna come to see that.
For Northwestern, I went on a visit last fall. I went on 2 actually. And right when I got there, I was like, I know that I wanna go here. It was just great atmosphere, great athletics, great academics. There was nothing that was wrong.
We got her involved in club volleyball, where she got to travel all over the country playing volleyball, and we followed her around. We spent thousands of dollars doing that. On top of that, we sent hundreds and hundreds of emails in Emma's name to coaches all over the map. Even into Canada, trying to get some attention. And we made videos, we did all sorts of things. On top of that, her club coach, Eugene Kim, was guiding us every step of the way.
What I remember a lot about the recruiting process and narrowing it down is what schools I could get into, because I remember Ivy League schools being interested in me, and I wasn't quite there with SAT scores to get into, so I had to narrow it down into where I could actually get into.
Obviously you have to play well, but mostly it was your emotions on the court and how you handle yourself to get really excited. So that was what I focused on, especially when I knew colleges were watching me, to get super amped up and just like look really passionate about it. I didn't have to try very hard, but because I naturally did that. But I mean,
well, I've got one senior that is going to walk on at Ball State. Last year, I had 3 girls go to college and play. I've got a couple of juniors that are desiring to go play college. One of the things that I do with them in these situations is really try to sit down and talk to them and say, hey, this is the level you need to think about. I'm pretty honest with them. And I don't want somebody thinking they go play Division I when they're a Division III player. So we talk a lot about that.
Realistic support, is do I really feel that I can get a group of kids who want to play collegiate volleyball? Do I think that I can place them 100%? Absolutely. I am very confident in that. But I also know that there are thousands of schools that you can play at. Now, if they came to me and said, I have to play Division I, well, now we got a different evaluation. And I think that's where the realistic support comes in play to say, I don't think so, or this is the level of Division I. Or does it even matter? Someone's paying you $100,000 a year because you hit a white ball harder than the kid next to you. Should you really complain where you're going to school?
I think what needs to happen are for parents or guardians to be educated on it. That I think is probably most important. Or school, the high school or middle school, if we're going to go that early, need to be educated on that.
Hey, if you want to maybe go play, can't wait till you're a senior and decide. You need to be talking to me about it now. So we talk a lot. That's one of our conversations we have. And that's one of the things I tell them. If you want to be a college player, there's certain things you need to be doing, and there's a certain level of working out and conditioning and things like that you need to be thinking about right now. You can't wait the month before your senior year to decide you want to go to college and play.
But we spent hours and hours and hours just making contacts. It was crazy. And then you'd be reading emails because these people respond. Coaches respond, and it's shocking where they find the time.
Certain coaches have a certain system that they believe wins, whether it's the Purdue coach or the IU coach or the Penn State coach or the Wisconsin coach or the North Texas coach, Kennesaw State. They believe they've got the way. Would everybody love a kid that's touching 10-6 to play on their program? Yeah, but does everybody believe that that's the type of kid that's going to help them win?
They were going to give me about a half a ride, and in the Northeast, college is about $40,000 a year. And there's just no way for them to pay half of your scholarship. And when I realized it wasn't going to happen, I was devastated and I was just bawling. I can just remember just curling up on the floor and crying my eyes out because that's where I wanted to go.
It's going to have its ups and downs, and every case is different, right? I mean, you've got one kid that a coach looks at and automatically they offer them a scholarship. Then, I'm working with a kid right now who was told she had a scholarship, did everything she needed to, and then they took the scholarship. So it's a wide range.
Like, after all this work, and I went somewhere that I didn't even end up liking that much. And then I just stopped after a year.
It's all about fit, right? You don't want the kid transferring. This recruiting process is difficult anyway. I don't want to go through it 2 or 3 times with you in your college career.
It was very ironic because right after the whole process for Emma started, I became a college golf coach. And what I found out, the thing that I liked the best about it was the recruiting process and getting to know the kids. And I started to understand the process better, and I also started to understand why these coaches do it.
And I think that the biggest thing with athletic money, it's not necessarily, the athletic money is there, it's just right now school has prices everywhere have escalated, which the gap's smaller than what it used to be. But the money's out there at some level.
When I was coaching girls golf, I had a full scholarship, I had 2 3/4 scholarships, and I had 4 half scholarships, and 2 housing scholarships. I never used them all. I would get, before the girls' season, I would have 3 or 4 girls, and I needed 6, and I'd be walking around campus saying, have you ever played golf before? Coaches sit in the clubhouse and commiserate, and then we meet out on the golf course during the tournaments and we commiserate, and I talked to coaches from all over the country who dealt with the same thing. Obviously, Indiana University, Notre Dame, Purdue, they don't worry about that. They're giving away stuff, and kids want to be a part of that. But for the kid who really wants to play women's golf in college or tennis or some individual sport, if you poke hard enough, you're probably going to find an opportunity.
Why not give that opportunity? Aren't you better off trying and failing than you are not trying and never knowing at all? And I think that's what I try to instill in all of our kids that come through our program, is at least have the guts to try. Because you know how many kids are out there that don't even have the guts to try because they're afraid they're going to fall.
I mean, it's okay. Like, I'm obviously completely fine with it now because it led to better things for me. It led to more of what I wanted. And that was, I ended up working with like a really big basketball program. And like, I feel like I would have never gotten that job if I wouldn't have been through all the recruitment and all the traveling and everything for volleyball. They wouldn't have taken me because they wouldn't have thought I was serious.
I really loved listening to these girls and how they're talking about how their coach was teaching them all these life skills, because it takes me back to when I played, and just that accountability and that character. And I think the hardest part sometimes is, working with other people and the other girls on the team and trying to figure that dynamic out. I ran track, and I also played softball, and I ran track in high school, and that was my passion. But it never really occurred to me that I could run in college. I wasn't the best on the team, and so maybe I just felt that I couldn't do that. But what's really cool, and what we're talking about today, is that there may be an opportunity out there for you. It may not be the D1, but there's maybe a school out there if you're looking to have your college paid for, or maybe they could give you a small scholarship, but there's opportunities out there for you if you want it.
Yeah, just keep trying, even if their kind of confidence is down, just keep pushing through it. Obviously, like, I've had hard times. It happens to everyone. Just keep doing what you love.
I mean, really, there's going to be an opportunity. If you really want to do it, just go for it, because yes, there's Division I, where the cream of the crop are, and then there's D3 or NAIA. Not that that's bad, but you can get into that too. There's a wide spectrum you'll be able to play if you really, really, really want to do it. Of course, you have to work really hard, really, really hard.
It's funny, I think about the group of kids that I'm probably the most proud of, and not that I'm not proud of all the kids that I've coached, but it's a class of 2007. One of them is HR director at the United Nations. I think that's pretty cool. One of them is a cardiac nurse at Methodist Hospital. One of them is a professional volleyball player in Germany. One of them is the director of public relations for a private school here in town. One of them does occupational therapy at the Y. One of them is a teacher at a high school. I mean, what greater victory is there than that?
Support for this program is provided by the Women's Hospital, providing a complete range of healthcare services to women and infants. More information available at deaconess.com/the Women's Hospital.
Toyota Indiana, Pump It Up Evansville, and Gigi's Cupcakes.